Merry Christmas, everybody. This is Dina. It is the 25th of December. It is Christmas Day. I hope you've had a great day. I hope you've gotten to see or talk to family and friends. I have had a fabulous day. Our son called first thing this morning. His work day started early, but he was having a great afternoon. Or I was hoping to have a great afternoon, hoping to get to go to his friend Mark's house. And our dear friends, Mark's parents, were coming in to have Christmas with them yesterday. And so my son said he was hoping to get to see them today. And I so hope that he did get to go over. So let's get to it. Let me show you what 500 stitches, actually 512 stitches did for me today. So I'll remind you, this is the original Let Love Rain as Teresa Kogut designed it. And I have taken this part out. So just imagine this going up here. That's just not there. But I still wanted to have my border the way it was. So I cut and pasted, moved some things around, moved some things up and down, and tried to get it where it would work out for me to have that wraparound border still there. And I've just been working away. Well, I'm on the final row. That's a full row before you get to the ending border. And I am thrilled to death to show you what I did today. This motif was started. It was, this whole flower was done. And the green around that flower was done. And that was about it. So I did the rest of that motif today. And then I came over here and I picked up where this border was, where I had left off in it. And that meant I stitched that whole flower. I stitched that whole flower. And I did this border on down and around, and I did the green that's in the border, in the leaves right there, the same color, while I had it on my needle. But here's what's important to note. Right here, where this goes stop and turns down, that is the corner. And right there, where that has stopped, that is the corner on the inside. So when I pick it back up, I will go from here across this way to form the bottom of this. And that will let me know how much room I have, whether I have any room at all to put an alphabet or whether I'm just going to end it right there and do the bottom border to finish it off. And I think that very well may be what I do, rather than put an alphabet on it. I will see. I will let you know. But I've got the corner where it's supposed to be right now. So that's the beginning of my corner. Yay! So tickled about that. Very, very tickled about that. And my plan is to continue working. This is the row I'm on right here. I finished that first motif. And so I've gotten kind of the border down to about right here. And this is where it turns. My goal may be to go ahead and, now that I've got that to this point, is to go ahead and stitch all this all the way across and bring that border down so that I can just go ahead and do the bottom across as the final row. But again, I'm trying to finish this by June, so I need to do a little planning on how much I need to get done every month in order to have that happen. But today was 512 stitches. It was a hard fought. 512 stitches. It took a long time. But that's okay. I'm just delighted that I can still stitch. I really am. Now, I want to share with you something else. My sister Stephanie and I opened our Christmas this week together. And she gifted me something extremely, extremely beautiful. And I've been looking for these for years. And she found them. I think they're from the Ukraine. And I went online to try and buy some more. And I'm scared to do it. It's in rubles and I went all the way through to put my order in. And when it came to the shipping, it doesn't give you your total. It doesn't give you what your shipping cost is going to be. And it actually says on the website that they're going to have to send you an email and tell you what your total is going to be. And then I think you have to come up, and it doesn't even say how you can pay. So I need to get back with my sister Stephanie and find out where she got these and how she got them, because look at these beautiful bobbins. These are floss bobbins, which I use, as you know, because I bobbinate my DMC. Aren't these beautiful? So this was one set. It was a 4 sheets, I think, and you popped them out, popped them open. You know, I get mine from DMC, and they come in a packet, and it's 4 to a little card, and you punch them out. And these were long cards, and there were 2 in each column. And I don't even know how many I have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, maybe 14 times 4. Anyway, they're beautiful. I love them. And I've been looking for pretty bobbins that are this size that fit in my little plastic containers for a very long time. Hobby Lobby for years ago used to sell some really pretty ones, and I bought some from there, and I still use them. I still use them for that number, whatever went on that bobbin. I baby them. I try to take care of them so they don't tear up, and eventually they will. But these are so, so pretty. So if you can find these from a place where I can purchase them, it doesn't even have to be in the States, but it does have to be somewhere where they'll tell me what the shipping is and all that. But anyway, I couldn't find it. I found the website that's on this card, but I need to ask my sister Stephanie if that's really where she got them from or if she did something different. But anyway, I had to share that with you. The other thing that she gifted me was this beautiful curry pattern, 4th of July. And I will be starting this little boy and this little girl in July. I've already kitted this up. That's another thing I did today. Because I was short 2 of the 25 I wanted to start. And I didn't do any more because I knew this was on my wish list. I didn't know if Stephanie would get it, but she did. So excited. So I got that. And I'm very, very excited about those 2 things. There were a couple other things that she gifted me, but those were the 2 I really wanted to share with you. So that's it for tonight. I'm going to say good night, and I hope that you have had a great Christmas day, and wish me well tomorrow when I go see my physical therapist. And hopefully this will all just be temporary setback, and we'll be back in business soon. But until we can speak again, happy stitching, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. This is Dina. It is December 26th, and I'm here to talk to you about my cross stitching and a little bit about organization, I think. Today, I made a list of some projects that I would like to just touch briefly, maybe put in a couple hundred stitches in them just to push them a little bit closer for next year. So the first one that I selected to work on is my Souris Noel. And the reason I picked it is it's going to be my Christmas focus piece for January. And I thought, well, if I could put a few more stitches in it, that's less stitches that I have to put in January to try to push it to a finish. And since I don't have any more prompts to meet for the month, I'm looking for other reasons to pick certain things to stitch on. And looking at what my focus pieces are going to be in January and trying to put a little more stitching in them was a good idea to me. So I'll remind you what Souris Noel looks like. And today I had worked on this all the way over to here, was complete, except for maybe one little star. And so today I started on her skirt. And I actually had decided I wanted to aim for 200 stitches. And I went up and I did the outline of the skirt till it meets here where it just becomes straight up the sides. And I said, okay, I'm going to do this whole little section and see if it's 200 stitches. And it was 284 stitches, but I filled it all in. And so that was a good way. So that was a combination of setting a number of stitches, but then saying, oh, this looks like a good piece to do, because then her dress goes straight up from here for, I think it's only 2 rows across before I start having to make room for her, looks like holly or it's a basket of flowers. And so I have to get that in there. So what I might do next time is work on the basket itself and all of the other stuff that interferes with the color of the dress, so that then I can just do fill-in around it. Who knows? Anyway, that'll be a decision I make in January when I start working on it for my focus piece for January. That's my Christmas focus piece. So that's something I want to put some work into. So what I want to talk to you about now, I mentioned, is a bit of organization. And I am tickled to death to share with you that I have created a calendar using Jen Lee's 24 Hours of Cross Stitch calendar that I purchased and downloaded. So I'm not going to show you all of the calendar contents because it's her creation and her property, and even though I purchased it, I don't want someone stealing it from here. I don't think you would, but I'll show you bits and pieces, but not enough for you to take and do the whole thing. But this is my calendar for 2026. It's a little bit bigger than the one I had for 2025. And I have, in the beginning, I have a wonderful year at a glance. So I've got all 12 months there. And then I have a tab for every month. And I will show you what a month looks like. I'm doing a 2-day spread. And you can see I've already got my stitching meetup at the library on there. And then what I will do the rest of the month with this piece is I'll put in any dates that I need for new starts, sales, Zoom calls, anything that has to do with stitching. This will be my stitching journal. Now, I will put things on my calendar as well, my virtual calendar, my electronic calendar that tells me where to be. I have to put it there too. But this, I want to keep a record of what I've been doing in my stitching. But in addition to having just the calendar, this is what I wanted to talk about. There's a page that Jen puts in here that's kind of a planning page, and I just love it. So you see I have goals for the month, then I have dates to remember, and then it's planned starts and planned expenses, which I adapted to be a planned focus for the month because I've got a Christmas focus and a gift focus for the month. So I'll tell you, for instance, the goals for the month section is going to be where I list my goals for my Determined Stitcher group every month. I have annual goals that we've submitted, and I took those annual goals and I'm breaking them down now into monthly sections, and I'm not going to write them in ahead of time. I'm going to adjust them every month and put them into that calendar so I know exactly what I need to do to keep me on track. The dates to remember, I've put in my Bringo. I've put in my 2 Whip Go calls because they're supposed to be done by the end of the month. And I also have in here a note that I want to make a new year, new start. So I've listed my planned starts. I've got a Blue Work Pairs number 1. That's in my Bringo. game, but it was one of my regular new starts that I wanted to do during the year. And then my 2 patriotic starts for the month are listed in here. And then, as I mentioned, my planned focus pieces, Souris Noel is 1, and the gift stitch is for my sister. So I will have that for each month in my calendar. So that takes up a bit of it. Then I decided it would be easier if I had a section in this same book for all the games that I play, instead of having a sheet here and a sheet there, of paper or something. Some of them are on the computer and some are not. So I just printed everything out, and now I have it in this handy book so that when I travel, I can pick this up and take it with me. And I have everything I need to keep up with everything if I'm at a retreat. So here's my Whip Go board. I've already highlighted the 2 numbers that were called for January. And if you see my Whip Go board, you'll see it's quite generic. I used to put in the names of what I was going to be working on, and now I don't do that. I put categories, or I put something that will allow me to pick an item when it's called, because I don't know when it's going to be called during the year. And I kept running into problems where I would finish a piece before it would be called. So this is what they sound like. Things like an autumn or fall whip, or it's either whip or new start on everything. I can do either or. So Christmas is number 7. So for my Christmas whip, I have chosen to work on Kringles Toy Store, which is my full coverage ornament, because that is in my Bringo game, and I definitely want to finish it, by the middle of the year so I can do the next one. And so I wanted to make sure that I put a lot of stitches in it, and Whip Go requires 300. So the first 100 could go for my Bringo call when it's called, and then I could add 200 to it, and I would finish my Whip Go call. The number 2 that was called for me was a seasonal piece, and I chose Playing with Jacks because that's an autumn piece, fall, and I have it on my Bringo board and nowhere else, and so I added it into my Whip Go board. So, there you have it. I have other categories if you're interested. Patriotic, because I'm doing, 25 new starts up to end in July of next year. And so I've got patriotic on here a couple of times. I've got my most recent new start, my oldest whip, a monthly requirement whip. I have monthly requirements for my Determined Stitcher group. And so when that one's called, I pick one of those monthly requirements and I work on it. I even added a new spot in here this time, a whip that was started at a retreat. I think that'll be fun. And I hope I'll have one because I tend to finish those. Then I have my Bringo board for January, and I don't have my picture in there yet. This little local group that I work with, there's a member that creates a design for December. It was a Christmas tree. And we overlay that design onto the board, and it's only those blocks that have the colored design overlaid on them that count toward the bingo, and you have to get all of them to get your bingo. But I have a whole year's worth of forms in here. They're blank, but the numbers change on each one. I have 5 different versions of the board as far as the number in their placement, and I just copied them more than once so that I have 12 for the year. I have my Bringo in here, and that's already filled out and ready to go. And having it right here made it easy to look at it when I looked at my monthly goals and my focus pieces and make sure that I had grabbed some of those things to put onto my Bringo board. I have placeholders for Springo and AB Singo because they'll be coming as well. And then I have a section for my Year of Whips. So this is my listing of Year of Whips that I put into my album with Melanie Watkins' Facebook group Soulful Stitcher. And those were the ones that I chose to do. You only had to do minimum of 6. I did 8 But whatever you put in there, you have to finish at least half of them. Personally, I hope to finish them all, but we shall see. I did this year, so that's helpful to know. But this I took out of Jen's calendar. It's a planning page. It says monthly highlights. I turned it into my year of whips recorder. And so when I finish one, I will write down in the month that I finish it, the date, the name, and the date of the project that I finish, so that hopefully I'll have all 8 of them on there by the end of the year. And then I've got a section for record keeping. I did this from her calendar last year, and I love it. So I've got a whole section for my current whips. And as of December 31st, I will copy over any whips that I'm carrying over and make those my first whips in the list. And then as I have new starts through the year that become whips, I will add them to my whip list. I also have a section for new starts.
This coming.
Every time I try to talk, I hit my keyboard with my book when I'm turning it around, and it turns Sarah Hughes back on because I've been watching her this morning. So this is my new starts, and each start I have, I will be able to record the pattern, the design or the fabric, the start date, and then when I finish it, I can come back and put my end date there. But I also have a section for finishes, and that way I can just list them out 1 through whatever in the order of when I finish them, so that at the end of the month, it's easy enough for me to do my record keeping. How many finishes did I have that month? At the end of the year, I'll have the total for the year. So I've got that. I've got a section here to record gifts because people are very generous and they send me things, and I'd like to have a better record of that. And I have a section here for Sal's, and this is all out of Jen's calendar. 24 Hours of Cross Stitch. I think her Etsy store is Quirks and Stitches. And so you can go there and find this there and download it. And she's got several versions. You can purchase just the acrostics, or you can purchase the calendar electronically and use it on your computer, or you can do the PDF version that you print out, which is what I have. So I have a Sal tracker that lets you put in here the project that you're going to be saling, who you're doing it with, if there's an end goal or anything like that. I have a section for the books I'm going to read. I have a section for retreats that will let me help track the retreat name and date and location. And it's even got things in there for you to tick off if you've made your reservation at the hotel and all that information, so you keep up with what you're doing. This is one of the pages I love in Jen's calendar, and it's called Stitching Tracker. And it actually gives you a page for a column per month, has the dates down the side. So each day you can record your total number of stitches, and at the end of the month you total it up and put it over here in this column, and by the end of the year you know how many stitches you've put in. I have a section in here for the Great British Bake Off. I have a floppy folder in here that's an has a pocket in it that I can slip my spreadsheet into, because I put that on a big spreadsheet. And I will put it in here once my planning group meets and we assign the projects to each baker. We try to do that together on the phone in one of our planning sessions. And when I get that done, I'll put that in here. I have a placeholder in here, just a tab, for 3 months to the finish line, because when I get ready to do that in the end of the year, I'll put my list in here of what I'm going to do. Possibly we'll even take one of Jen's tracking forms where you can track your stitches for the month, or track your time and dates that you stitch. She's got several forms I haven't used anywhere else, but I might use them in here for working on those projects to 3 months to the finish line. And then Jen included a section on her marathon dates. And so I have a section in here for the 24 Hours of Cross Stitch marathons. And so I'm going to keep up with that there. So what this does for me as far as organization is it takes where I've been keeping records, some on the computer, some on spreadsheets, and it puts it all in one spot. And I can just flip back and forth between these pages as I'm planning. All the acrostics for 24 hours of cross stitch I've already printed off and put in here. Now I've only planned January's. I haven't planned anything else because you never know what you may have new starts or what you might finish in between. So I don't want to do it for the whole year and then have to change everything. So I just do it a month at a time. But that is my calendar for 2026. And I just wanted to share it with you because I really appreciate Jen putting all that work in on creating that calendar and all those wonderful tracking forms. I'm using a good portion of her calendar now in one way or another. And so it's worth the investment to me. It's not that expensive. So I just encourage you to check it out. And that's my organizational tip for the day. I'm going to let you get busy and get back to your stitching. And I am going to pull out the next project that I want to give a little focus to today. And hopefully maybe come back this evening and have a little more stitching to share with you. I'm headed off in a few minutes as well to my PT appointment. So wish me well. Fingers crossed that he's pleased with my improvement. Things have changed. The achiness and discomfort has kind of shifted into different areas. And so I think that means things are moving and things are healing. And, you know, I'm feeling it elsewhere. Where that might have been hurting all along, but it was overshadowed by something that was hurting more. You never know. But I'll talk to my therapist about that today and make sure that, you know, to see if I need to just keep doing the same exercises I've been doing or something new. But thanks for your well wishes and your pleasant thoughts toward that for me. And I will talk to you soon. So happy stitching, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. This is December the 27th, and I am here to share with you the first stitching that I've been able to get done this morning. I continued to work a little bit on Dancer because I was getting ready to put him away, and the ears were sort of partially done, but not finished. And I thought, I want to finish those ears. So I did. So I put in another 161 stitches this morning just to finish up on the ears because I had worked on him a little bit last night. But here he is. I think he looks beautiful on this sparkly green fabric. I think that's just lovely. So I have another antler to do on this side, and then I can come down and finish the bottom. So putting him away for this year. I won't pull him out again until 2026, but I think he's in a good shape for next year. So I wanted to share that with you. Now, today, my plans are to work on a few more little things to push them closer to a finish for next year or to get them in a little bit better position for next year. I did look at my New Year, New Start, and I have it ready to go. I put it on a roller frame, and I even had to add fabric to it because it's plenty big this way, but it only had 1.5 inches top and bottom this way. And to put it on a roller frame, to get to stitch it with only 1.5 inches margin, it was hard to get it on the roller frame. So I just put a strip of fabric on it and put that into the roller frame so that my room that I have to stitch on is accessible to me. Yeah, even though it's still only 1.5 inches of the fabric, it's way down in the comfort level. And I went ahead and put in my first stitch, as I said, and left my thread hanging. So on New Year's Eve, I will be able to start my new year, new start. And it is Lila's Studios, newest one, and it is the Peace on Earth sampler. So I can't wait. I think that's a great way to start off the year wishing peace on earth. So I'm going to do that. So I took care of that. So a couple of things I want to get done today, if I can. I would love to put in some stitches in my full coverage ornament because I definitely want to finish that in 6 months. And if I put another couple of hundred stitches in it today, that's just a little further along that it will be when I start working on it in January. And then I have a gift stitch for my sister I need to work on. And so I want to put a couple hundred stitches in that if I can today. And then I think I've decided possibly to pick up land that I love, Biscornu, and put some more stitches in it to get it closer to a finish. I had hoped to finish it this month, but that's not going to happen. But that doesn't mean I can't put a few more stitches in it. So those are 3 of the things I'm looking at that I want to work on possibly today. And that would probably be my day of stitching as we look at it that way. So there you have it. Those are my plans. That's what you can look forward to seeing. And in the meantime, if I get all of that done and I have any more time to stitch, then I'll come back and let you know what I've decided to work on. But another thing I'm thinking about doing is restarting a patriotic stitch. I started America from Rovaris. Have a little bitty bit of a start. But I'm doing it on 36 count. And I'm doing it with 2 strands. And it looks very thick. But I don't know. I think I may just leave it. But I may work on it too. So that's the other thing I have out that I want to look at. So there you have it. Those are my plans for kind of today. I have a few stacks of threads that I need to put back into my stash from finishes. One was my finish of my Old Glory Angel, and then a couple of others are there from the Jingle Ball finishes that I had. I need to go ahead and put those away. And so I may try to get that done today as well. So lots of little things that I want to do, and I'll get busy working on that. And, I'll come back and share it with you. So in the meantime, happy stitching, everybody. Hello, everybody. I'm back again. This is Tina. It's just a little bit later on the 27th of December, and I am here to tell you that I have successfully completed another little stitching update. I've been working on a piece for my sister, and so Stephanie, you need to look away if you're watching. I'll remind everyone else now, this is the one I'm working on for my sister. And so today, I put in another 237 stitches into this project, which got me this section here and this section here. I got both of those done today, which I think is lovely. I'm excited about it. So now, if you look back at this picture, that's this right here that I've done. So the next time I pick it up, I have this area and this area to work on, and I will have finished it down to about the midpoint of the design. I did look at it. You can look back now, Stephanie. I did look at it to see how soon I might could finish it. And I think it's going to take me all the way till Christmas to get it done. Because it's just so intricate and there's so many color changes, but it's beautiful and I'm enjoying it so much. And so I will continue working on that, but that is going to be my gift focus piece in January. So you'll get to see it again. Hopefully, my idea on working for my gift pieces is to work on them at least once a month, and if I can, maybe even twice a month on the month that I have them as my focus, depending on how much time I get to stitch on them. So I wanted to share that with you, and that strikes off another one of the things I had on my list of things I'd like to get done today. And so now I can pull out yet another piece that I want to do some extra stitches in. I'm kind of liking putting these 200 stitches in a lot of my pieces just to do a little section or a little goal on them. To get them ready for next year. It lets me touch a few pieces that I hadn't touched in a while. So I think the next one I'm going to pull out is probably going to be my full coverage Kringles toy store. That's the ornament, and I'm going to try to put a couple hundred stitches in it if I can, or do a little section of it. And I'll be back and share that with you hopefully later this evening. We'll see. But anyway, I hope you're having a good day, and I'll talk to you soon. Happy stitching. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. This is Dina, and it is December 28th, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about some stitching that I've been doing over the last couple of days. Yesterday, I think I recorded a couple of little segments about stitching that I was working on during the day, and I was trying to put 200 stitches in several projects just to push them a little closer so that they had a better starting off point for January. And then I decided one of those needed to be my full coverage piece because I want to finish it in 6 months. So I thought, well, I'll throw some stitches at it. So I did 254 stitches in Kringles toy store, and the Kringles toys is right here. That's the one I'm working on. And I did wind up putting 258 stitches in this before I put it away for the day to go to work on something else. So let me show it to you. I'm doing this on the kit fabric, and so that was, I divided it into the 6 quadrants for the 6 ornaments that I was working on. And this is the Kringles toys. Interestingly enough, this is all the cross-stitching in Kringles toys. The rest of that word will be formed by the back stitching, and you can't do that till you do the building itself because you're back stitching on top of your cross stitches. But I did come over here. I finished up the windows. I did the X's in the writing of the name of the shop, and I did the entire little train there as far as the cross stitching. And again, the back stitching on that can't be done until I do the building around it. The back stitching inside the windows I was able to complete because that was stitched. So I'm trying to back stitch as I go. So my next time I pick this up, I'm probably going to work the building wall behind this section so that I can get the back stitching done on all of that as well. But that was my little extra work I did on the Kringles Toys full coverage Christmas ornament that I'm working on. And then I had put on my list to go ahead and throw a few stitches into my Land That I Love Biscornu, because that was something that I had originally put on my Determined Stitchers goals to finish in the month of December. And then because of my back injury on the ship and not being able to stitch very much, I didn't think I was going to make it. So I was just going to put extra stitches in it each day. So yesterday I did that, and I put in 348 stitches into that piece. And it was really getting close. So today, even though I had made a list of 6 things I wanted to try to stitch on, even if it was just 100 stitches or so, I wanted to touch these things. One was my temperature tree. I wanted to start stitching on those leaves so that I could finish it up on New Year's Eve as soon as I could take the high for the day and finish that as my last finish of 2025. And I thought, well, I'll go ahead and get started on it. I haven't yet because I picked up that Land That I Love Biscornu today. And I put in another 1,148 stitches in it. It's taken me all day to finish it because we had church this morning and lunch this afternoon. And then, as you know, right now, I can only stitch about an hour at a time before I have to get up, move around, and do something else. And so I'm constantly having to stop my flow. Anyway, I was able to do it. So here is the second side of the Land That I Love Biscornu. So now I have the two parts that I can put together if I want to as a Biscornu. But I was talking to my friend Donna tonight. We were catching up with each other because she had traveled over Christmas and I had been gone. And so here's the other part of that. This was the smaller, less stitching amount. So that would probably be the bottom of it, I'm thinking, if I did a Biscornu. But I'm wondering, these are such beautiful patriotic pieces, and they're going to be the same size. Should I make this into a quilted table runner or something along those lines? I don't know. I got to check on that. So anyway, I want to look at the book again to see if there's enough of them in there that I really want to stitch to make a table runner. I think that would be a pretty thing to do, don't you? But anyway, this is what would go together if I make a Biscornu, these two sides. So I finished it. So that's one of my patriotic things I started because of the anniversary of our country coming up in July. And so now I've done those two parts. And I can put those in my bag and see what else I want to maybe start working on if I decide to do that. But anyway, that's another finish. I'm thrilled to have a finish. So I'm going to put this away now and go rest my back and neck and all of that. Do something a little different. And then we'll see where we go from there. Anyway, that has been my stitching for the last 2 days. So I will try to come back soon and share more stitching with you as soon as I can. Depends on how everything goes tomorrow. I am supposed to Zoom, I think, tomorrow night with some stitching friends. And so I'm probably going to save my Exceedingly Diligent that I was going to work on today for tomorrow night, because that'll be an easy one to do while I am on a Zoom call. And that's what I think I'm going to try to do. So there you have it. I finished. Tickled to death. I counted up my whips today after this finish, and I am sitting exactly at 25 whips that I would carry forward into next year unless I finish that temperature tree. But even at that, then I will start a new start at midnight or right before midnight. And so that means I still will probably start the year with 25. But that's better than I did this year. So the whip number is down anyway. But I'm going to let you get on to the next clip. And I am going to take a break and talk to you as soon as possible. In the meantime, happy stitching, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. It is the 29th of December, and I'm here to talk to you about my stitching. Well, I've done 2 projects today. One project was I put in my temperature tree leaves up through today so that at the end of the month, it won't take me but a few minutes to finalize my couple of last days worth of leaves, and I'll have a finish in my temperature tree. So I'll wait and show that to you when it's all done, because there's just 2 leaves left to do. The second thing I worked on today, though, was in all things be exceedingly diligent. This is that really long pattern here. And today I decided I would work on this because I knew I had a Zoom call tonight and I wanted to be able to do fill-in for the Zoom call. So I started on this box right here, and I did the little flower shapes in there. It looks like little poinsettia shapes. And then I filled in the box while we were Zooming, and then this section, and then I started the lettering. So now, the next time I pick it up, I'll pick up the rest of this alphabet goes out here beside this black box. So now the box is in place and I can start working on lettering on the alphabet again and finish that alphabet. But this is coming along, just nothing, and not in any hurry. I'm just working on it as I can. And but I thought that was a good one to work on tonight when you're Zooming. So 1,021 stitches I put in that today. The other thing I did today was sewing, and I had made a former puppy dog before we had Coco. I had made her some winter little jackets that for her to wear when it was really cold, because she had short hair and she would get cold in the wintertime. And I kept them after she passed away. And so when we got Coco, and Coco has sort of a hound shape to her chest as well, I wondered if they would fit her, and they did until recently. And now we've let her hair grow out a little bit longer for the winter, and the coats are a little bit snug on her. So today I spent some time and I took the Velcro that I used to take the strap under her belly and snap it. I moved it on a couple of them. Maybe tomorrow I can move it on a couple more, but just to give her enough room for it to really be laying on top of her instead of squeezing her with her big thick coat that she has now. So I did a little bit of sewing today. Had physical therapy today, which went really well. Thank you for sending me positive thoughts about that. My back is getting better every day. The stretching is doing remarkably well. The heating pad every night is helping. And so today, my therapist told me, my PT said that I could go back into the gym and take it really, really slow. And then probably we'll see him on Friday, and that will be the last visit that I should need. So I'm excited about that. And then my friend Donna messaged me today, and she said, "Are you going to do 12 and 12 for New Year's Eve?" And I said, I hadn't thought about it. She said, "Well, you need to go listen to this person talk about it or present it in her Facebook group." And so I did. And if you haven't heard about it, it's basically your choice on how you want to do it, but it's the 12 hours from noon to midnight on December 31st. And you either plan on stitching one project, two, up to 12 separate projects, one per hour. It's your choice on how you want to do it. I think the original version was 12 projects in 12 hours to work on 12 different things. So I started looking at my whips, and I started looking at what would I want to do. And I tried to be pretty honest with myself about when am I going to be tired, when is it going to be more difficult to stitch on certain things. And so I came up with 2 or 3 different possibilities for me. I have enough Christmas whips left that I could have done 11 Christmas whips and then take the last hour to do my New Year, New Start. But then I thought, I've got to focus on one of those every month in the year 2026 in hopes of finishing some of them. So I don't think I want to spend New Year's Eve working on all of them. So I didn't do that. And then my friend Donna mentioned that I'm starting 2 new patriotic starts each month between now and July. And I could go ahead and start each of those, one each on those first so many hours until I had the rest of them done. And I thought about that, and I remembered how I got weary of new starts in July when I did Christmas in July, and I did something different a different Christmas whip every day, and I wound up starting so many of them. I think I started like 26 or 27 of them that month. And I did get weary of starting something new every day, having to do the calculations and, make sure I had everything in the right spot and get going. So I thought, no, I'm not sure I want to do that. So here's what I came up with. I am going to do what I call stitching through the seasons. And I took my whips and divided them into spring, summer, fall, and winter. And so I will start at noon stitching on spring Quaker. And then I've got it down for a couple of hours. During the daytime, I tried to put in some of my pieces that I would like to get some stitching on that are harder, more difficult to do. Spring Quaker is one. Then my summer piece would be Summer by the Sea. And then after that would be Autumn in the Village. And then for my winter piece, I would do Deck the Halls. When I hit that hour, that would take me up through 8 p.m. And then I decided at that point I would be tireder, and I could probably get more energized if I swapped projects a little more frequently, so I would do them every hour. So for spring, I did Let Love Rain. For summer, I did Isabella's Garden. For fall, I'm doing Cabin in the Woods. And then that takes me to 11 p.m. And I want to start my New Start, which is a winter piece. It's Peace on Earth, but it looks like a Christmassy pattern. So that will fit in just beautifully. Now, here's the caveat. That doesn't leave any time in there to do anything else. If you sat and stitched those 12 hours, you wouldn't eat lunch and you wouldn't eat supper and you wouldn't spend time with your family or friends. And so that's what I'm going to be stitching on during those hours if I'm stitching. And if something happens, like if my husband decides he wants to go out for lunch, or if we decide we want to have supper together, I'm going to go. And then when I get back, I'll pick up where I left off. So we'll see. We'll see how far I get. And going out back and forth like that might mean that I only do an hour on a piece instead of 2. That's okay. It's all right. I have a little bit of a plan. I have an idea of a list of things I want to work on, and I'll just march my way down it. We'll see how it goes. So I had a great Zoom call tonight. We had 2 of us had traveled, 3 of us had traveled over Christmas and right before Christmas. And so we got to hear all about each other's trips and how all that went, how everybody's Christmas went, and stitched together while we did that. It was lovely. I enjoyed it a lot. As you saw, I got a lot of stitching done as a result of that. So I'm going to say goodnight now and go hit the hay. I think it's time to join my family. I think they've all gone to bed. And I will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow, I actually have a Zoom call with a couple of friends, and I'm excited about that. I've got to decide what I'm going to stitch on while I'm talking to them. So I may look at that before I go to bed. But at any rate, I'm going to say goodnight here and wish you happy stitching. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. It is December 30th, the day before New Year's Eve. I wanted to share a little bit with you this morning, or this afternoon rather, of the stitching that I got to do today. It was a great stitching day today. It's been frigid cold, but it wasn't raining. So my husband took Coco to the park, and I had a quiet morning. It was wonderful. I had a Zoom call with my friends Mary and Joanne, and we probably stitched for an hour and a half or so and caught up with one another. And then tonight I am zooming with my planning stitchers. So this is my friends Dee, Lori, and Donna. And we're going to be talking about all the plans for the coming month, the coming year, everything. So I can't wait. I just got a message from Dee to the group, and she said that it looks like a bomb went off in her craft room. She's got everything strewn out, making all of her plans, writing them up, and I think that's hilarious. So let me show you what I chose to work on this morning, because I'm trying to put extra stitches in things that I need to get finished next year. And one of the things that involves is a gift for my sister Stephanie. So sister, you need to look away again. And I'll remind y'all of what it's supposed to look like when I finish it. And I'll show you where I got to today. Now, I did exactly what I said I was going to do last time and worked on the 2 areas that I said I was going to. And I put in a total of 550 stitches. So now this beautiful project is finished down to here. I do have 2 little streamers that kind of go out here on the side that I didn't notice until after I'd put all the threads away. I'll grab those next time. And then I really do have these really large clumps here and here, and then the center piece to stitch. And so I'm getting there. I'm getting a little bit closer than I was when I picked it up earlier. But 550 stitches really help push that forward. So I have it as a focus in January and February and March, I believe. And so I'm looking at it now thinking that I could very well, if I really worked hard on it, in January and February and March, I could finish it. We'll see. But probably not in time for a birthday. This is probably going to have to be a Christmas 2026 present. So anyway, that's still what I'm aiming for. So Stephanie, you can look back now. So there you have it. Now I'm going to put all this away, and then I'm going to decide what I want to stitch on tonight as we're doing planning, talking. I had originally thought I would work on maybe my reindeer games while we're talking tonight, because it's a fairly easy pattern, you know, to actually work on. And I very well may do that. So I'll let you know. Chances are I'll be back in the morning to tell you what I did tonight, since we tend to do our planning session and stitch, and we don't usually get off the Zoom call till around 10 or 10:30, and then I tend to straighten up and get ready for the next day and head out. But to go on down to join my puppy and my husband. And let's see, my puppy just abandoned me. My husband has gone to the movies tonight. He wanted to see one that I wasn't that interested in. And since I'm doing a long Zoom tonight, I encouraged him to go and have the evening just to himself and relax and not have to worry about walking anybody. And so I'll take care of that here. Probably in about a half hour, I'll take her out for her final meandering around the neighborhood. And then I had planned ahead tonight, and while my husband and I were running by the laundry and getting gas for the truck and all this kind of stuff, I had him pull through into Chick-fil-A, and I got me some of my favorite chicken tortilla soup for my supper tonight, and told him to enjoy whatever he would like while he's out at the movies. He said if he got popcorn at the movies, he probably would count that as his dinner because it's so expensive. But anyway, I hope he enjoys it. He's going to see the movie about is it Marty? The one about the table tennis champion. And he showed me the trailer for that. And to me, it just looked like a lot of stress and tension. And I didn't really want that tonight. So I begged off and said, but you go and enjoy. So he will. So that's the stitching for now, and I will be picking something extra or different and be working on it tonight, hopefully, while we're doing our planning. And then I can come back and share it with you tomorrow. So in the meantime, I hope you have a fabulous day of stitching. Happy stitching, everybody.